Hey guys, thank you so much for connecting for our yet another episode of podcast/interviews with interesting people from crypto world. And today we're featuring a really interesting guest from investment side. So guys, please welcome Ricardo Sorio, a Chief Investment Officer at Protein Capital. So happy to see you, Ricardo. Thank you so much for hopping on this call.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Ricardo, I did a whole lot of research regarding your journey in crypto, and you've been in crypto since 2017, if I'm not mistaken. What was your very first investment, and basically what did it teach you about risk management, timing, and were there any crucial mistakes that you made and that made you learn something very important?
I started in 2017. I started superficially, and I wasn't all in or anything until several years later. And believe it or not, my first investment was XRP.
Wow.
So, I kind of drank the whole Kool-Aid there, like banking of the future, the reserve asset, everything. And then after a while and doing some research, then I understood the uniqueness and the value of Bitcoin and the importance of Ethereum and smart contracts.
Yeah.
By then this was all theory, right? We didn't have DeFi, we didn't have anything meaningful. So it was interesting just learning about them and understanding the potential in the future. And I really kind of miss those days, when like everything was in front, everything was a possibility.
And what mistakes did you make back then? Were there any curious cases that you want to talk about?
I'm not gonna say XRP was a mistake, but I think the mistake.
Was an XRP investment a mistake, actually?
No, I'm not. Today, I'm not a big fan of XRP,
Okay.
and it's funny when you measure how excited I was back then, but obviously things change a lot.
Yeah, I can imagine. So you actually started a private crypto fund for friends and family really fast, so to say, in 2022. So what was actually harder, making good calls or explaining the volatility process to people you care about?
Yeah, managing the volatility was hard because that was my first investment vehicle, and then I had to keep a cool face, straight face. This is normal. It's all gonna come back. But inside, I maybe didn't have the conviction I should. I still had doubt. It was really like, was this it? This is a bear market. Is it all over? It was really tough. But I think it's a good experience. It hardens you. It prepares you because the volatility is always gonna be there.
Especially this first bear market was actually hard back in the days. I remember that because things were completely different back then. And now
it was a lot hard. People complain about bear markets today, but going through a bear market back then was a lot harder because you didn't really have the past to show you we're gonna come back. It was you had to have a lot more faith and a lot more conviction to actually believe that we were gonna come back.
And now, as CIO of Protein Capital since 2022, we're going closer to the present time. So how does your decision making changes when managing institutional capital?
Definitely become more conservative in terms of asset allocation. Like everything, obviously, every decision has to be backed by due diligence. There's no improvisation. And obviously, you have to be flexible. This is a very dynamic market. You have to have some flexibility, but the fact of being accountable and having risk management mechanisms just, keeps you in check. And it actually helps you perform better because you end up having less assets, less transactions, and more concentrated bets. And that's actually, that leads to a better performance.
So is that your core investment thesis at Protein Capital, right?
When you say core investment thesis, we believe right now that we're kind of in an inflection point. We've spent all these years building these blockchains and scaling them and improving the technology. I think that we are scaled enough. I think that with blockchains like Solana, with Sui, with layer 2s like Base, and soon Mega ETH, we already have the technology to be able to host applications for millions of users. So I think, there's still a lot to do in infrastructure, like improving privacy, account abstraction, chain abstraction, making them more interoperable, but nothing stops us from having a killer app with millions of users. So I think that right now we're in that point where it's time for the consumer application phase, right? We have to but not focusing so much in the infrastructure and start answering the question, why are we building all these blockchains, right? I think we're in a point where a lot of startups and a lot of protocols are gonna start emerging with killer use cases, and that's where we want to be.
Wow, that's cool, mate. But yeah, let's get back and imagine like we are 5 years old, and could you explain us like, what if a founder lands in your landbox? What do you do next? So what makes you lean in and what makes you instantly pass?
So mostly I would say just if it's an innovative, a creative idea, something new, it always catches my attention. I always have to see hundreds of decks and many of them are very similar. So when you see something truly innovative, it just clicks, right? I'm kind of wary of the iterations that we see many times, and it's like a perp dex but for X chain. And I mean, it's fine. I'm pretty sure that a winner in the perp dex category will emerge in that chain, but as an investor, it's not attractive and it's not easy to pick a winner between 20 startups doing exactly the same thing with exactly the same deck,
And what do you use the most, like experience or trends, sort of say, if I'm narrowing?
In this case, depends on the project itself, the idea. What value is it creating? Is it a new idea? Is it a new product? Is it a new service? Is it something that I believe will have user demand?
All in all, what do you think about valuation Web3? So where user metrics are often like inflated and fundamentals blurry.
Valuations in Web3 crazy in a way that some things might seem extremely overvalued, but at the same time, I mean, if you have a DeFi protocol, theoretically, a DeFi protocol can grow from 1,000 users to 1 million users in one day. And there's nothing stopping it other than marketing or communication challenges to make that happen. But theoretically, it can, right? The bulk of the processing is being done by the blockchain. It doesn't need, the protocol itself doesn't need investment to grow a large user base. Theoretically, the revenue can 100x in a very short time. So it's very hard to model. It's very hard to predict, how much value it's going to be able to obtain. And also, token performance not always correlates to the protocol's quality. There are very good protocols with underperforming tokens. There are bad protocols with overperforming tokens. And it's also very, very hard to predict if a certain protocol that you believe is awesome is actually gonna stick. It's gonna be attractive. And then you have to make this decision months or even years before the token is actually launched, where market dynamics are gonna be completely different.
Yeah.
This thing that you saw that was so unique and innovative, by the time it launches, there may be already 5 protocols doing it.
Way more, the cycle. The market got way more faster and get react like super quick.
And then the competition, if you are able to invest in a protocol that is unique and is still unique by the time it launches and is successful, by the end of the month, there's going to be 20 copycats already launching with an iteration of your name, just, sucking market share.
And yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, you're also involved in a project called Union Avatars, right?
Yeah, Union Avatars is one of the companies in our portfolio.
Right. So what position do you take in that thing? So
no, I don't hold a position there. It's one of the companies in our portfolio, and I've been helping them fundraise a bit. It's a pretty cool company. They do avatars. They allow users to do avatars in many different styles, and they can tokenize them, so you can use it in different games or faces, so you can kind of import. You can have a fixed identity and import it through different spaces.
So what do you think, is digital identity becoming infrastructure, or is it still a feature? So what are you seeing on the ground?
I think eventually it'll be very, very standard. I think it's going to be very standard for people to want to have like a fixed identity, a fixed avatar, a fixed way to present themselves in all the different types of spaces.
It will go mainstream.
Yeah, definitely. And so to do that, you need to have something like a protocol like Union Avatars where you can tokenize it, and it can be universal among all the different spaces.
Yeah, really interesting. What's been the most, unexpected or wild use case for these avatars?
It's weird. We can't really know because we can't track them all the way. So we know there's been a lot of demand. We know that there's a lot of it is used for gaming because many games allow you to import the avatars, but there's so much that we don't know, because we can't track them. We can't track the usage all the way.
Hard to argue with that one. Okay, so let's talk about, market, macro, and basically what's next. So what's one thing most people still get wrong about like institutional crypto investing?
I think most people have no idea about crypto. I think there's a lot of, even people who invest in crypto, there's a huge percentage who just buys it in exchange and leaves it there just because someone told them to, without having any idea that these, I think that there's also this misconception, like in the general populace, because of the word cryptocurrency, that they think these are like digital currencies, that we're like trading these volatile digital currencies like Forex. They don't understand that these are actually tokens that have utility. Like in most cases, obviously not in meme coins, but in most cases are tokens that have utility, that have a use, that they behave more like stocks, but at the same time are not securities. So it's really tough for them to wrap their heads around it. I think that's one of the things that needs more education, people to try to understand that, these are not just little, people think we're just trading little Forex digital coins instead of actually tokens that have utility, that are used for something.
Exactly. And speaking of which, what theme do you wish people would stop chasing altogether? In crypto, like all the prejudice that is going on right now, what is the most hated topic, in your opinion, that people would just stop chasing altogether, but they get it wrong?
I'm not a big fan of meme coins.
Yeah.
Their appeal, and they are fun, and I do buy and sell meme coins for the fun of it. I don't like the idea that they've taken center stage and that it's like it seems that everything, all of this is just to trade meme coins, which is not. I don't think they're ever gonna go away, because people like gambling. This is fun gambling. This is much, much more fun than buying a lottery ticket and going home and waiting a week to get a number. I mean, you're actively in this.
Compared to that, right?
And you have more upside. So, I mean, this is not going to go away, but I don't like, how much focus and concentration it's gotten, and also how diluted it has gotten, right? So like there's thousands of meme coins being launched every day. So the percentage, the probability of success for anyone is so low.
Crazy.
People just end up losing money. And when people come to a space and lose money, they tend to not come back. So I think it was fun at the start, but it just got into a point where it's just so proliferated so much that it's not even becoming like a profitable thing for people to do.
What if one meme coin project appears on the scene and makes a revolution, grows something, important, maybe the infrastructure, or evolves into something completely new to the industry? So can that project have a future? Can actually meme coins?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think many meme coins successful meme coins, 0.001%.
Yeah.
But I think many of them can evolve, and they will evolve something more useful and something more meaningful. Definitely, they always can. But it's not the purpose for most of them.
Right.
Most meme coins launched today is just an extraction vehicle.
Actually, speaking of futures, if you had to bet on just one crypto narrative for the next 5 years, so what would it be? DePIN, identity, like with the project we talk about, real world assets, or something else?
I obviously wish they would all succeed, but I think DePIN probably. I think DePIN has such a potential to disrupt many industries, and we've only just scratched the surface. I mean, we only have like a handful of successful DePINs that have been able to grow in large enough in users, and that, but there are so many industries that can be disrupted. One of the things that I like so much about DePINs is that it allows us to do things that we cannot do otherwise. It's like blockchains make something much better, like trading. But in the case of DePIN, it allows for something that cannot be done otherwise. It's like when you see, I don't know if you remember, but like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, like every city was promoting like free Wi-Fi zones. We're gonna have the whole city Wi-Fi. Every city is gonna be Wi-Fi city. Yeah. And nowadays, no city has it. All those projects failed because the investment was too much. It didn't make sense. And then along comes Helium and does it just with DePIN, because it's just the simple concept of passing the infrastructure costs along to the user. It allows you to just disrupt any industry with a capex of zero and being able to grow instantly. I think there's so many successful projects that are going to come from there. That's why we're also very bullish on Peak, which is one of our portfolio companies, is blockchain for DePINs. I mean, there's just so many. There's this one, for example, this one DePIN. It's called WeatherXM. We're not investors in it, but I am personally own a weather station. So we just install weather stations in our houses, and we measure all the weather details on our specific GPS point. So we can map so much more data than regular weather stations can, and we can model so much better the changes in weather. And it's just something that no company can do. No company can install 100 weather stations in a city.
That's really interesting. I've never heard about that, actually. So.
Yeah. There's so many. I insist. There's so many things that are going to come out of DePIN.
And as we've touched upon the topic of success, what does actually success mean to you right now? And has it changed since your first fund?
I mean, yeah, definitely. Like my first fund, I was buying and selling assets. It was very impersonal. I mean, whatever I did, my successes or failure had no effect on the assets or the protocols. But now that I run the venture capital fund, I have a personal relationship with the founders. I have a personal interest that they succeed, and that they do well. So it obviously changes a lot. It's like to me, success now means helping others succeed, helping them succeed. If they succeed, I succeed.
And speaking of, your personal relationship with success, with funds, with all those projects. So what's one lesson you've learned the hard way about team building, product, or people? So it's just to give an advice for those who are just starting out.
I think one important lesson is always keep in mind position sizing. Sometimes you have like very, very strong conviction in a project and you're so sure that it's going to be successful. So you make an unreasonably high investment, irresponsibly high investment maybe, and it doesn't pan out, right? And you don't understand why, because it's such a good protocol, but sometimes good protocols fail. So even if you are 100% convinced, you should always keep a check on your investment sizes.
And in a broader sense, what legacy would you like to leave, both as allocator and as a builder?
I think I'm a bit young to think about legacy. No, like for now, my focus is being able to build a portfolio of remarkable companies that can create a positive impact in society. If they're successful, I'll be successful. That'll mean I can eventually create a bigger fund more companies, and eventually all of that adds up. It's a cumulative positive, for society. So I think if I just focus on that, legacy will come eventually.
Yeah, that's a fair one. Really honest. Thank you so much, Ricardo. Really nice having this talk with you, but it's not actually over. I have last bonus sort of round. It's a rapid fire round. Where I, shoot quick questions and you provide quick answers and overthinking. Just the first comes into your mind, right? So I got 5 of them real quick. So, let's go. First, Ethereum or Solana today?
Today, Solana.
Oh, really interesting.
Ethereum is the OG, and it will always have a special space in my heart. But they're not even comparable right now. I mean, Ethereum isn't even like a blockchain anymore. It's an ecosystem, and it's like today they're not comparable.
Okay, next, maybe a hard one. So overhyped, AI or DePIN?
AI, definitely. Okay. I'm very bullish on AI. but the current implementation of AI is very, very early, and there's just too many projects popping up trying to extract value from something that just isn't there.
Well, that wasn't actually a hard one, so yeah. Okay, the next one. Biggest red flag in the pitch deck.
Hey, you know what sounds superficial but kills me? Spelling errors. I know it sounds superficial, but if this is your tool to raise funds and like this is life or death to you, if you don't get these funds, your company, you're not gonna be able to grow, and your company will die. And you can't even like take the effort to check and correct spelling errors. That really, it just to me devalues the whole thing. It makes me really doubt that that person can run $1 million company. Sure. And also like projections that are just thrown out with no context, like year 1, 5 million, year 2, 20 million, and without any context or any explanation for you getting those numbers. That's also kind of a red flag.
Yeah, I don't like it too. We got a lot of pitch decks, and when that comes around, it's just hard to deal with. So, okay, next one. Most misunderstood role in a Web3 startup.
I think there's demonization or vilification of the marketing roles in Web3 startups. I think people in the community tend to look bad upon the projects that are shilling they call it shilling, and they tend to not like that. But I think that marketing is one of the most important aspects of projects. They tend to focus too much on technology. But if you do that, you can make the best protocol in the world, but if no one knows it exists, you're not going to do anything. So, yeah.
Okay, and last one, maybe interesting one as well. One Web3 idea you still believe in that most don't.
I think even though we had the USD Terra's disaster, and that has made everyone frightened and run away from algorithmic stablecoins. I do believe that we need a US-pegged decentralized stablecoin. I know it comes with many risks. I know it's complicated, and regulations are going to make it so hard. But today all stablecoins are centralized, and like USDC is one step away from being a CBDC. It's fine for many people, but there are many instances where people need a decentralized US-backed stablecoin with deep liquidity that can't be confiscated. So, and I think that's something that there were many projects going that way, and after Terra, it all just vaporized. And but I think that's an idea that should still be pursued.
Yeah, 100% agree. And yeah, basically that's a wrap. Thank you so much, Ricardo, for being on this call. Guys, just reminding you real quick, we got a super nice, interesting talk with Ricardo. It was super fun. Ricardo Sorio is Chief Investment Officer at Protein Capital. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. All the links will be in the description if you want to get in contact. Have a great weekend or day whenever you're watching. So yeah,